Part 5 of this series about our adventure of discovery to Mount Sinai, we actually get to climb to the top of Mount Hor, which was said to be the ascension place of Aaron, and it was the sister mountain to Mount Sinai. There's a Bedouin lady climbing up the mountain, and up top there's a little goat. Kiel again proved his independent streak as he refused to take the beaten path up the mountain and insisted on taking his own track. Maybe he knew that it was in the caves beneath the mountain where the sacred rites were kept hidden. As we had the key to the shrine, the young Canadian and his guide were waiting in the shade for us.
Where is the driver of the camel?
He's down with his camel.
Where's it?
Kiel's still taking the hard way. The layers of sandstone were all contorted, twisted and eroded into the most fantastic and beautiful forms. Wow. It looked like it had been melted in places, and I was pretty sure this mountaintop too, just like Jebel Haroun across the valley, was made out of the geoplasma generating Aaronite sandstone, which is quite a coincidence considering it was Aaron's tomb.
I saw a bright blue lizard.
Yeah, this one here. Beautiful. Hello, muckle. There's the muckle, look. The guardian lizard.
Where is it?
His head's just poking over the edge there. There it is. Indeed, it was a bright blue muckle that was the guardian at Aaron's tomb, and he made us feel very welcome, though it was a stiff climb up the last bit, especially for Kiel. The rock forms grew even more fantastic as we approached the top of the mountain, and I was sure I could see evidence of the lighter plasma forming Aaronite sandstone with overlying melted layers of darker red sandstone. At the top there was a rock guardian with a rather menacing aspect, and then from the top one could look across at the Aaronite sandstone top of Mount Sinai, Jebel Haroun. That's the altar of sacrifice over there. You can see it's a different type of sandstone, see? That must be the Aaronite sandstone, huh? Well, this is the ascension place of Aaron, Jebel Haroun. There's the white dome, and we're on the top of the dome. The top of the mountain was a great vantage point, and there were tremendous views in all directions, and it looked like we were a long, long way from the Bedouin village, which was another 2 hours away on camelback at this stage. Looking towards the northwest, we could see the Dead Sea and Jerusalem and the heights beyond, and to the west was the great Negev desert across the Israeli border just a few kilometers away.
Okay, got it.
It was certainly an ancient sacred shrine, and there was evidence from the signs of habitation just down to Kiel's left on this shot that the mountaintop has been inhabited for a very long time by a group of monks or custodians. But who were they, and why was this mountain called Mount Hor? Why was the sister mountain across the valley called Mount Sinai, which is also known as Mount Horeb? Of course, we already had some clues from Rami Sajdi with his knowledge of the plant medicine in part 3 back at Little Petra in the Ammarin camp. In particular, the plants that he shared with us, this one being the sacred fig tree bearing the milk of Hathor, the goddess of the golden calf, and this one, the pistachio terebinth, the sacred oak tree from which carved statues were made, and bearing the tree gum known as the sacred tears of Horus. There was a lot of hidden knowledge buried in this place, in the place names and in the native plant medicine. In this case, we seem to be getting drawn back to the ancient Egyptian myth of Horus and Hathor, and then back, which leads us to in turn to the myth of Isis and Osiris and to the original 9 gods of ancient Egypt, the Aenei. A search on the terebinth led me to the great poet Robert Graves' book King Jesus, 1946, where he talked about the cult of the terebinth that worshipped the great mother goddess and was more associated with the Edomites who inhabited this sacred place. Then, in short order, another search on Mount Horeb took me to this website, and I noticed the synchronicity again, finding the milk of Hathor and the tears of Horus on one page, with the tree of life being the golden tears from the eye of Horus, and on the same page mentioning that it was from the milk of Hathor that the pharaohs were said to gain their divinity, becoming gods in their own right. And in its own way, the ancient cult of Hathor led back to the worship of the Anunnaki goddess of the Sumerians in the form of Ishtar or Inanna and her starfire rituals. So I was very pleased to have my own Anna on the top of this mountain of Horus and Hathor. I was pleased to give thanks to the great Anunnaki goddess, and we all gave thanks to the great god and goddess that had led us to this sacred place.